system that doesn't make you stay here for 5 days. Lisa, Alexander, does this? Okay, sorry. Anyone wants? We were gonna save it for the end of the day, as we did yesterday. But if anyone wants to do a little pitch, we have one pitch scheduled for the end of the day. So one of you is already gonna pitch at the end of the day. But if anyone wants to do one of those free moment pitches, we can use the time and we can make it work if you're interested. Andres? Okay, yeah, the thing is that for that I think that we need the thing that is not working now. Sorry, Andres. I keep failing you. We can? Okay, so I can stop entertaining you. Okay, let's go. So the topic of this session is enhancing the cinema experience, event management. And we're going to go back to Rome, back to Cinema Troisi. So the stage is yours. Second round. There you go.
Now we spoke about the capitalism. Allora.
So.
Spero abbiate mangiato bene.
I hope you had a nice meal to eat.
Mi hanno detto che la lasagna era buona, ma non l'ho mangiata perché sennò ingrasso.
They told me that the lasagna was good, but I didn't have it because I'm gonna get fat.
Allora, in quest'altro speech parliamo più del cinema Troisi e quindi della nostra gestione del cinema in quanto tale. Lui.
So now we're going to talk more about the cinema Troisi and how we manage it.
E prima mandiamo un piccolo video che racconta il primo anno di attività.
So now we're going to see a short video that is about the first year of experience.
Allora, la prima cosa che mi viene da dire è che quando abbiamo pensato questo cinema, la cosa che volevamo superare era il cinema stesso.
The first thing I want to say is that when we started thinking about the cinema, the first thing we wanted to do is surpass the cinema, go over the cinema.
Almeno in Italia eravamo consapevoli e certi che, salvo rare esperienze, tra cui i compagni qui del Postmod di Perugia, le sale avessero completamente perso il loro ruolo all'interno del tessuto urbano.
So what we knew, at least in Italy, is that basically many of the movie theaters have lost a lot of their scope, initial scope, to get to the public.
Si era impoverito il rapporto con la fruizione del film, perché ci sono le piattaforme e c'è la televisione, e quindi si andava sempre meno al cinema, che in quanto struttura era meno un punto di riferimento che negli anni precedenti.
So and with all these platforms, the cinema became less of a place that people went to. The connection was lost a bit.
E quindi la prima domanda è stata: se il cinema è entrato nelle nostre case tramite la TV e le piattaforme, come possiamo noi far tornare il cinema alla nostra casa?
So we asked ourselves if all of these films have already been to our homes, available on the TV, how can we get them back to the cinema?
E quindi per far tornare il cinema alla nostra casa abbiamo immaginato tutte delle attività extra cinema affinché la nostra sala diventasse un punto di incontro, di ritrovo, ma anche un operatore culturale vivente nella città.
So we thought of many ways, extra cinema, beyond the cinema, to make the people come back to it.
E così abbiamo guardato la struttura e abbiamo capito che in un locale delle caldaie che era stato chiuso si poteva avere intanto accesso a una terrazza, ma soprattutto realizzarci dentro una biblioteca aula studio in cui tutti gratuitamente potessero stare.
So we looked at the building structure and we saw that there was a terrace, there was like a study space, library where people could go to and meet.
Questo ci ha consentito di dare alla struttura una grande possibilità, ovvero di rimanere aperta 24 ore su 24, 365 giorni l'anno, come un pronto soccorso, compreso la notte di Natale e la notte di Capodanno.
So what we managed to do with the building is leave it open 24/7, 365 days a year, even on New Year's Eve, even on Christmas.
Quindi la struttura è sempre aperta, sempre accessibile, è un punto sicuro anche per le donne che subiscono violenze nella città di Roma, cioè proprio segnato come punto sempre aperto, al pari di commissariati, ospedali e quant'altro, ed è un punto in cui qualunque ragazzo o ragazza che ha problemi a casa, ha problemi in famiglia, non ha un posto dove studiare e star solo, vuole organizzare un evento, vuole parlare con altri, può stare gratuitamente.
So everybody can go there and can be there. For example, women that were victims of violence could go could find a safe place there. Also, children that, for example, wanted to study but were not able at home.
L'aula studio, che è al piano superiore da questa terrazza, non è inserita in nessun contratto con nessun sponsor e nessun ente, non viene mai affittata e non viene mai concessa per attività o laboratori, è semplicemente un'aula studio, quindi tutti coloro i quali attraversano e vivono Roma sanno che quel servizio c'è e c'è sempre.
So this study space on the terrace, this library is always open and is never, for example, rented for any sort of events with any public or private bodies. So people would know that it's always open and it's always going to be open for them.
Il record è di una ragazza che ha studiato 23 ore consecutive.
The record was of a girl that studied there for 23 hours straight.
In parallelo all'aula studio, aperto sempre, c'è il bar, che non è un solito bar di un cinema, ma è un bar che vende solo prodotti di Trastevere, delle botteghe, delle pasticcerie, delle pizzerie, dell'alimentari.
There is also a bar that's as well open all the time, but it's a specific bar, not like the others, since it sells only products from the neighborhood Trastevere, so all the local pastry shops and all the rest.
Lo abbiamo disegnato circolare per avere una superficie di somministrazione maggiore tra uno spettacolo e l'altro, tra quando la gente entra e quando la gente esce, in modo tale che su tutta la superficie del bar tutti si possono appoggiare e noi in poco tempo siamo in grado di vendere a tutti, di somministrare a tutti.
So the way the bar was constructed was like in a circle, so that everybody basically can be served there, so we can cover a bigger surface.
E per consentire alle persone che spesso vanno al cinema da sole o studiano da sole di incontrarsi e parlare, perché questa circolarità dà la possibilità del confronto e del dialogo.
And to allow all the people that come to the cinema to be together, to meet, because this circular form allows them better than the standard bar.
L'ufficio della fondazione è all'interno del cinema.
The office of the foundation is inside the cinema.
Noi lavoriamo in 9.
We are 9 people that work there.
E tutti i ragazzi, o la maggior parte, diciamo che non è obbligatorio, ma è un'opportunità, che lavorano invece alla gestione della struttura, che sono circa 40 tra full time e part time.
And then we have another 40 people that are working there full-time or part-time.
Possono andare a spese della fondazione nei festival cinematografici, in particolare Venezia e Roma.
And on expense of the foundation, they could go to the festivals in Venezia and Verona.
E Roma.
Roma.
Perché è molto importante per noi che i nostri dipendenti sappiano che film stiamo proiettando.
Because for us, it's important for the people who work with us to know what are the films that we're screening.
Che parlino con lo spettatore del film prima e dopo, che sappiano consigliare, sappiano...
So that they could, for example, suggest some of the films to the spectators.
La programmazione del cinema infatti è un misto, c'è un gruppo che lavora in quotidiano, che è quello della fondazione, che lavora su tanti progetti, tra cui la programmazione del cinema, ma si allarga anche a tutti i dipendenti che vogliono curare la programmazione. E molto spesso, quando i distributori lo consentono, viene dato accesso ai link dei film anche a loro.
Most of the people that work there also work on very different projects, but this is also one of them.
Quindi lo spazio è diventato in breve tempo un punto di riferimento per i giovani in città. Immaginate che il 60% dei nostri spettatori sono under 30. Di questo... Vai.
So a lot of young people come to our cinema. Imagine that just around 60% of all the audience that we have is under 30.
Di questo 60%, il 70% hanno meno di 25 anni.
From these 60%, 50% are less than 25.
Ok. 70.
70.
25. Lato cinema, cioè gestione della programmazione. La sala cinematografica fa una programmazione di prima visione dal lunedì alla domenica, proiettiamo dalle 11 del mattino alle 2 di notte.
So our main hall also screens premieres from Monday to Saturday, from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m.
Cosa non scontata in Italia, esclusivamente, rigorosamente, sempre e solo in lingua originale.
Always and exclusively in original language.
Ma non è scontato in Italia.
Non
Non è assolutamente scontato in Italia.
which is not something that is very often made in Italy.
E i film in italiano li proiettiamo con i sottotitoli in inglese.
And Italian films we screen with English subtitles.
Il sabato e la domenica mattina organizziamo retrospettive di film del passato che vanno tutte sold out.
So on Saturday and Sunday we screen old films that are always sold out.
Adesso stiamo facendo tutti i film tratti dai libri di Roald Dahl.
Right now we're doing all the films from Roald Dahl.
E abbiamo proiettato tutti i film di Xavier Dolan.
And we've also shown all the films.
E adesso inizia una retrospettiva dei film di Roberto Benigni.
And now we're going to start a full retrospective of Bernini.
Il martedì sera c'è un collettivo di ragazzi che studia cinema del DAMS che organizza le Ultra Cinenotti, che sono delle retrospettive per dare spazio a mezzanotte, che è un orario assurdo ma funziona, ad un cinema indipendente che non ha trovato grande spazio nell'esercizio romano in passato. Il martedì notte c'è un collettivo esterno che organizza una sua rassegna cinematografica di cinema d'autore che non ha trovato spazio nelle sale.
So around midnight on every Tuesday evening, some independent people come to screen their films when they didn't find different place to do so.
E loro sono tutti studenti o giovani critici.
So they're all young, they're students or young critics.
E questo è uno dei progetti che abbiamo accolto, che fondamentalmente se tu chiedi a una sala di organizzare un tuo evento ti chiede l'affitto.
So usually, yeah, this is one of the projects we organize, since usually if you go to a hall, they ask you for some sort of rent.
Mentre noi sosteniamo noi le spese anche con i distributori, diamo la sala gratis, mettiamo il proiezionista, perché la sala è a disposizione di tutti, quindi è una spugna che bagna la città, ma anche una spugna che assorbe la città.
So, but we sustain it for free, since we have to give back to the people.
La spugna l'hai detto?
Spoon, yes.
Okay.
Spoon. It's a sponge.
Because it's funded publicly, they have to give back to society, like to the people.
Però dal giovedì alla domenica c'è il Late Night Troisi, ovvero un appuntamento di mezzanotte solo col film horror.
But from Thursday to Sunday, there is a horror night, late night, Troisi is called.
E la programmazione è una multiprogrammazione con anche 4-5 titoli al giorno differenti.
So the program is very vast. We sometimes have 4 or 5 films a day
Su un unico schermo,
on only one screen
con 300 sedute.
with 300 seats.
Organizziamo tantissime presentazioni, la sala è diventata in brevissimo tempo, come l'abbiamo progettata per questo proprio, la sala delle anteprime a Roma.
So we organized the space, and very often we do premieres in it.
Ma la selezione è durissima.
But the selection is very, very difficult
C'è
for us.
Alice che si occupa della programmazione e se una cosa non le piace non passa.
Alice is for what she does is look at the program, and if she doesn't like it, we don't do it.
Se un film che non piace ad Alice viene programmato, Alice sta male. Noi non vogliamo mai che Alice stia male.
If we show a film that Alice doesn't like, she feels very bad, and we don't want to anger her.
Ma l'importante anche qui è uscire dal cinema.
But also here is very important to go out of the cinema.
Così la cosa più assurda che abbiamo fatto fino ad ora, oltre nel cinema America Occupato 10 anni fa proiettavamo le partite della Roma, ma 10 anni fa.
So we did something absurd, even like 10 years ago when we occupied the Cinema America, we showed football matches.
Ora naturalmente non possiamo fare le partite di calcio perché i distributori vogliono gli slot della prima visione.
Now obviously we can't do it because of the distributors, because they want every spot available.
Allora ad esempio abbiamo proiettato la maratona delle elezioni elettorali fatta da un noto giornalista italiano che è seguito da tutta Italia, tutta la notte, fino all'alba.
So for example now the whole night until dawn we show the marathon of the elections.
O 2 sabati fa, a mezzanotte, è iniziato il torneo con la PlayStation 5 di FIFA 2023 per tutta la notte fino all'alba.
And for example 2 Saturdays ago, again from midnight until early dawn, we showed the FIFA 2023.
E sui film, sulle presentazioni, dato che altri esercenti hanno iniziato a protestare perché da noi si organizzavano troppe presentazioni con i registi,
And because a lot of people started complaining that we did a lot of presentations with filmmakers,
che però è una cosa su cui noi abbiamo investito e lavorato e quindi abbiamo un rapporto e quindi saremo legittimati serenamente a farlo.
and we obviously wanted to do it because we invested too much time and energy.
E in questi 10 anni magari uno ci ha fatto talmente tante cene che ci è diventato amico e loro hanno piacere a venire da noi, cioè non è che noi li costringiamo, sono loro che vogliono venire.
It's not that we make them come, they just want to come and present their works.
Comunque abbiamo detto ok, superiamo anche questo problema e lasciamo le polemiche agli altri.
Okay, but we're just going to pass also this problem and leave the space for the others.
Allora abbiamo iniziato a prenderli in giro.
And we started making fun of them.
A scherzarci, sì, a prenderci in giro.
To
Ok.
make fun of them.
E ad esempio su Bones and Doll di Guadagnino, e ad esempio sul film Bones and Doll di Luca Guadagnino,
Okay.
for
For example,
example,
the film Gonzano from Martyna.
abbiamo
Martyna.
invitato un antropologo, criminologo, esperto di cannibalismo a spiegare il fenomeno del cannibalismo oggi nel mondo.
So, for example, we invited an anthropologist, criminologist to talk about the cannibalism.
Per il film dei Daniels Everything,
And for the film,
oltre ad aver avuto ospiti appunto Guadagnino e i Daniels,
and not only Guadagnino and Denis,
in un altro incontro abbiamo organizzato un dialogo con un astrofisico
in a different meeting, we invited an astrophysicist
che parlava di come nel cinema siamo passati dai viaggi nel tempo ai viaggi nel multiverso.
how in cinema we started going from the paths of the past, going to the past to the multiverse.
e spiegava dal punto di vista fisico se il film dei Daniels fosse attinente o meno alle leggi della fisica rispetto al multiverso. Spiegava se il film dei Daniels fosse fisicamente, cioè a livello accademico attendibile.
So he basically wanted to explain physically, academically, if this was possible, the film.
La risposta è stata che non lo era assolutamente.
The answer was no, absolutely not.
Sì, finisco. Mentre ad esempio sulle 8 montagne di Felix van Groening,
Whereas the film Eight Mountains,
abbiamo invitato il più grande alpinista in questo momento a presentare il film.
we invited the biggest alpinist of the time to present the film.
O ad esempio i più giovani cantautori italiani, questo è il progetto che organizza Sergio, che nel frattempo mi sa che è al bagno, vengono a presentare i loro film della vita.
Or for example, very young songwriters, a project that Sergio is responsible for, came to present their work.
Lo stesso avviene con i più giovani stand-up comedian italiani, i più influencer potenti, più seguiti, che presentano ognuno il loro film comico della vita.
So again, for example, the same happens with stand-up comedians. They come and they show their life's work film.
Finisce. Domande?
Any questions? No? Okay. Yeah.
Tanto mi capisci, no? In English. The tournament of PlayStation of Saturday night is an event, a single event, or you organize many activities about this?
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty, next Saturday.
Yeah.
And how many people comes to play?
200 persone sono venute, 30 hanno giocato.
200 came.
200 came and 30 played.
È stato prima. Sì. Un applauso a Sergio.
Sergio, bravo.
Allora sì, aspetta. No. Date un attimo. Un applauso a Sergio, grazie. Che cosa fa Sergio al cinema Troisi? No, Sergio si occupa di questo progetto con i cantatori.
When you do the event with Sony PlayStation, you just said that you have game Call of Duty. Any authorized buy or etc.
Chiede se c'è autorizzazione o meno. Sì, abbiamo scritto ai giochi e ci hanno detto di sì, anche con such as the projection of the premiere of Oscar. We write to Sky and Academy, we request the authorization, he's okay, yes. But the projection of the premiere of Academy and the football match on PlayStation is free. We have the money from the bar. And the important things.
Sorry, in order for the room to get it, if there are doubts, let's make it work.
Una cosa che mi avevano chiesto di dire e che mi sono scordato, la gestione nel cinema nel primo anno è andata in positivo?
The management of the cinema,
È andata in positivo.
it was very positive.
E la gestione del cinema non riceve alcun finanziamento pubblico differente dalle altre sale.
So our cinema didn't receive a different co-funding, public co-funding comparing to other cinemas.
Anche se avremmo potuto riceverli, non li abbiamo voluti.
Even if we could have gotten them, we refused them.
Perché non ne potevamo più di sentir dire qualcuno che diceva ma voi avete il finanziamento pubblico e noi no.
Because we didn't want to hear other people saying like you got finance, public finance.
Mentre l'aula studio aperta H24 naturalmente riceve finanziamenti pubblici perché sennò sarebbe un buco nero economico all'interno della struttura.
Whereas the library, the study room gets financial.
Ma i business plan sono divisi.
But they are completely different. They're
Okay.
separated.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Wait. Yeah, that's something, what you were asking is something very interesting because from other countries, it varies quite a bit. And we've tried to do things like the Oscars, even the Goya's academies, and it changes from country to country. And even within our own country, it differs from year to year. So it's a very interesting topic that maybe at some other point we can get into because, yeah, it's also a fighting rights kind of thing that, yeah. Okay, so Agata is taking the floor. Huh? Oh, sorry, yes. Sorry. Events for kids, fairy tales, and holidays. If that doesn't put a grin in your mouth, I don't know what would.
Could you do the clipping for me? Yeah, of course. I will tell you. So today I would like to tell you something about our experience during 2 events, which are Fairy Tales Mornings and 8 Hours Weekly Half Camp in the Cinema. So the first one, Fairy Tales Mornings, these are the this is the place where we play the few short fairy tales, 7 to 10 minutes long. And we are playing only Polish fairy tales, mostly from 20th century, but sometimes we also play the new ones. Kids also have some attractions, as you can see, to make it more attractive. And the second one, 8 Hours Weekly Half Camp, is our proposition for kids during the summer and winter breaks, when parents have to organize the time for kids because the schools are closed. And kids are spending the whole day in the cinema. They are watching European movies, and we organize some attractions. Here you have photos from this year winter breaks when the subject was Harry Potter. Yes, the next slide. Yeah, so why we decide to organize our own events? Firstly, we spoke with our clients and we know what they expect. The second one is most of us have kids, and thanks to that we can make our offer attractive both to parents and kids. Yeah. And the second is here. Okay, the next slide. Yes. So thanks to this events, we built image of the place that offers something more than cinema. And we want the kids to feel comfortable in our space. For example, during the fairy tale mornings, we let them enjoy the whole area. They can go backstage and run around the halls. And during the half camps, basically we'll let them to our office. And they also can use our film studio to make some films. Okay, next. Yes, so a few words about what we can indicate as right directions. Regularity for sure, because our clients accurate habits and earn our offer. So they just wait us to post on the Facebook that we are organize those things. Always high quality. Sometimes just take more time to organize those events and to make them perfect, because it's really important, and the kids will definitely appreciate this. Financial target beyond zero, because we can't put extra money on our events, so our goal is to be at zero at least. So if we earn, it's very good, but in the worst case, we are just on zero. So prepare your events in this, like this. So because additional events are designed to expand the potential audience and increase the tickets income. So it's in our case, it's not that important to make money on this because we know that these kids and parents will come during the normal time of our cinema. So what didn't work in our case? At first, we wanted to all the attractions to be connected with film and movies, and it causes frustration because sometimes it's impossible to create something only during the prism of film. So we just stopped this and we started to think outside the box and create the attractions in other subjects. For example, during the fairy tales, we organize a magician show, or we invite the ambulance or the medic or florist even. This week, I think it was florist because of the first day of spring. Yeah, don't be so serious because it's. We find out that sometimes during the fun we can be educationally, but not too much. So not be focused on this educationally part because during the fun you can do a lot and kids will appreciate that. And cheaper fee. So at first we wanted these events to be cheap, and we thought that will bring us more audience, but it didn't happen. So we started to, started to sell regular tickets like group tickets. We are not selling the cheaper tickets anymore because it didn't work. It didn't increase the number of selling tickets. Yeah, next one. Okay, so the thing that increased the selling tickets the most was cooperation with kindergartens and schools, because the fairy tales are two times in a week. I mean, one time per month, but there are two. I mean, they are one subject, but we are playing this twice, one during the week and one at the weekends. Yeah. So during the week, basically, kindergartens coming, and during the weekend, there are like parents with kids. Okay. Yeah, that's the next one. Okay, so after a few years of those events, we can say that works bring results. Often they are not so quickly, but with time we managed to have a full audience at fairy tales mornings, and the half camps are sold out half years before, so it's a good. Also, we before pandemic we thought how and where to fit fourth hall to our cinema, because we had so much people inside, and now we are just coming back to this idea because it really works. Yes, I try to be really fast because I want to also say something about Kinga's project. Yeah, I know, but I have another project to talk about. I don't have presentation for that, but you can imagine. Yeah, you can do it. So this project was Collaborate to Innovate, which we called Cinema Open to Youngsters. In this project, we are working with two other cities, which is Elbląg and Jarocin. And we selected 3 groups of of kids, 3 groups of kids. They are always the same kids. And it's like 8 to 11 years, 12 to 15, and 16 to 18. And for every, they're older. And for every age group, we select European movie. Yes. This is the movies that we are played. For every group, we select a European movie, and after the movie, they have a meeting with specialists. They have brainstorms, and they talk about this movie. Also, they have attractions like, for example, dubbing and that kind of stuff. And for our research work, we ask kids to complete the survey, and each cinema after every film prepare report including film and photographic documentation, thanks to which we can, it is possible to complete the effects between project partners. That's the sad part. As the results of our work, we can say that both teachers and, because teachers are included too, both teachers and students are not prepared for watch this kind of movies. And in Poland, there's no film education, so those kids are basically not prepared. And when we ask what they like to watch, they're saying Hollywood movies, obviously. And the European movies are too difficult for them. They do not understand them. And what we learn that with proper education, it is possible to expand their knowledge to this kind of cinema and make it attractive to them, because after a few meetings, we saw that the kids, that the way that they speak about the movies, it's totally different. They now they are open, they want to talk about it, and they are really dig into the movie. So after the education, it's possible that they will go to European movies. Yes, so the yes, so in our opinion, and after what we saw, we know that we have to cooperate with parents and teachers, so they will prepare those kids. And for us as cinema, it's a clue that it's good when we prepare the screening for young audience to give them something after this or before, maybe some introduction that they will understand this, or after a meeting with specialists or just a talk, and also maybe some educational materials. Yes, I'm on time. Really fast.
Thank you, that was great. But I have a question. How and where did you get those kids?
They were selected from schools. Yeah. I mean, we cooperate with many schools. We cooperate with many schools, so for us it wasn't a problem, but as I know, in smaller cities it was more difficult to get them.
How do you mean cooperate with schools? You went to the schools, tell about the project you will have, or how was it exactly?
We have contacts to teachers because we organize free screenings. So they know us, so we basically contact the teachers and ask if their class want to.
Okay, that's more private communication to make them to be interested in your project. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for your presentation. I was curious to know a bit more about this 8-hour workshop. You said that they go and watch a film and then they have this opportunity to go to a film studio. Can you maybe explain it a bit more, and how in reality does these 8 hours work, and how much does it cost?
Well, firstly, in our cinema, there's also film school, so that's why we have a film studio, and we are lucky. And 8 hours is not that long, and I mean, we have really good animators that will fill the time. For example, during this Harry Potter, they have to build the whole inscenization to make a movie. So they have everything made by their own. And
you also mentioned that they watch a movie during that time,
Yes.
or yes, and then afterwards they try to recreate a scene with their own tools.
Not necessary. It depends, because every day they watch movies, but not. I mean, this year because of Harry Potter, there was a magician movies. We also invite the magicians, so 2 hours checked, and they are. We also have this lady that organized walks during the whole area of Gdynia and talk about film aspects, but not only. So there's a lot of things to do during 8 hours. Oh, and how much? It's like €4, 200? 200? Yeah, €200 per week, per person.
Per person, okay.
8 hours, 5 days, a lot of to do.
Ah, okay.
And you have a grant from the.
Sorry. Is there anything that you want to clear up about that?
Do you have other grants for this activity, or just the family pay for?
Yes. But they are found, but from parents.
Yeah.
But the fairy tales. I think we pay for fairy tales, but our friend has a really good deal with the distribution of these fairy tales, so it's not expensive for us. And the 8 hours camp is basically found from parents.
Okay, thank you so very much. Just a comment in what you were mentioning regarding like how to contact with the schools and stuff. It's also been very interesting in these years of being in labs and stuff. And at Cine Ciutat we experience it in the same way, that sometimes some institutions, what they do, some cinemas, what they do is try to contact the public institutions regarding schools, like doing some top-down kind of approach. In our case, it's been 100% effective when it's bottom-up. Like you normally by profile, a teacher is kind of a cliche art house spectator. So maybe you have teachers within your audience and contacting them. And we've seen that every year we do a dossier with recommendations. The way that the dossier impacts the most is by the teachers sharing the PDF through their own WhatsApp groups. Like sometimes different teachers within the same school don't know that they come to Cine Ciutat because they go under personal relationships. Like this is like our case, but in other cases, they really went top down because the structural system helps for the information to drop down. But in Mallorca, at least, it doesn't, so it works better from bottom up. So maybe it's to analyze your area and see where it works better, that personal contact with teachers or going with the educational board. Just to give you examples that have been happening. No, they pay. Yeah. Okay, and now to finish this session, of that is my long-time lighthouse. I'm sorry, I love you all, but it's been many years with Christos, and yeah, so I'm very happy to welcome you.
Well, just to continue from where Javier very politely introduced me, my name is Christos Ringas. I come from Greece. Actually, this is my second Sofia lab. I have also participated in audience development labs in Bologna and Seville. I took part in Innovation Day Labs in Thessaloniki and Cluj, and attended all Europa Cinemas conferences since 2012. We were also a member together in the validation committee. I was a member of the Cannes Film Festival, the jury for the Kenzander Realisateur, and I did 2 exchange projects. Javier has 3, including the very first one in Bordeaux. So we ran 2 open-air cinemas in Athens. We are members of the network since 1995. And actually in Greece there are 50 cinemas that are now members of Europa Cinemas Network. So I guess that we can identify ourselves as being brand ambassadors for the network. So this is a picturesque cinema. This is our cinema. And what we thought was to give a floor to the people that wanted to come to the cinema with their pets. So they were asking, can we come? And we said, of course, if your dogs are quiet, you can sure do. This gave us a leverage, and it gave us the ability to differentiate ourselves from other cinemas. So we had the ability to use the cinema venue for other activities, especially during winter closure. When we had discussions with Europa Cinemas about extracurricular activities, the main problem was that due to the lighting conditions and the very short season that we have, it was not really possible for us to do something else. So that way, we tried, especially during the pandemic, to have the cinema available as an animal shelter in order to give extra life to those stray dogs that could not have the chance to survive outwards any other way. The other main point is to attract audience that would like to watch a film without worrying where to leave their pets. Because this is an issue, you need some dog walker, you need some friend that also has pets in order to do the job. But those guys were banned from most of the classic movie theaters because it wasn't possible for them to carry their dogs due to noise concerns and things like that. We had also the chance to bring new people inside the venues that weren't necessarily interested in watching the films, but they were dog lovers, so that gave us the possibility to attract some people out of the classic, let's say, pool of potential candidates or potential viewers. We had the chance to become the de facto meetup place for like-minded individuals that cared both about films and dogs. And we increased the audience awareness about stray dogs and what means are available out there to support them, even if you cannot afford to have one or you don't have the space to have a dog inside your own apartment. So this kind of eventization has several effects on our site. So we had the opportunity to reach out to audiences that didn't have their needs addressed in the past because nobody seemed to have any way of understanding what those needs were. We made a fuss in media. And this is very important because if you want to make a fuss about your business, then sometimes you need to think outside the box in order to do this, besides movies, besides screenings, besides events. We presented an alternative way of using the venue during the winter closure, which is around 8 months, so it's a lot. And because I'm hearing a lot about open-air cinema projects and things like that, just have in mind that in our case, it is an open space that is not used during the winter. So it's not like we move the equipment to an open space and do screenings there. We do have a venue that is closed for 8 months. So this venue now has some added value that can be presented in our case. Of course, we managed to differentiate ourselves from the competition. We stand out because we did something else. And last but not least, we expanded our idea for giving back to the community that supports us. And I think that this is maybe the most important factor because we always hear about company awareness and how we can give up to the community. But in that case, this is a very way of attracting also volunteers that would like to come and make a difference in everyday life. They don't have to be film lovers, or they don't have to like cinema at all. So, about the project itself, what was effective, what didn't work? We managed to we brought the spotlight in the stray dog situation and how to address the issue, which is important. We did provide everyday simple solutions for people that wanted to help but they didn't know how. So one example could be that somebody could stay overnight just to make sure that the dogs aren't barking too much and the neighborhood is not annoyed. Another thing is to pass away flyers about adaptation events and things like that. As I told you before, the most important issue is that we managed to buy extra time for those stray dogs in the aspect that we had a temporary shelter for them, and by that we increased the possibility for those dogs to have a family and be adopted. We were trying to get support from the local authorities in terms of food, vaccination, ID chips. Those are the things that cost. But unfortunately, maybe due to lack of organization, we didn't manage to achieve that. And the other major problem is that when we open during the summer, we cannot really afford to have the dogs there any longer. So we wanted to arrange with the local authorities for those dogs, the ones that we had at this time, to be brought back to a public shelter in order not to go on the streets again. But this was not possible. In that case, what we did was that we had a basket. There was a time when 2 puppy dogs were inside the basket in the entrance of the cinema, and we did some sales pitching. So everybody that came through the entrance asked about the dogs, and we said, okay, you want them, you want to adopt them, please. So, what did we do with our partner cinemas and audiences? We organized adoption events like this one. This one is actually very recent. It's one from October. And we worked with animal shelters that could provide us the know-how and support that we didn't have, and prioritize the pets that needed immediate care. We asked also neighbors that already had pets to support us by staying there for a bit, or provide some food that they have for their own pets in order to keep those stray dogs out of the streets. We tried to bring pet food suppliers on board and ask them to support our cause by donating free portions for the ones that we had. We organized many Adopt a Stray Dogs events like this one, where we had even independent organizations like the Archery Academy in Ilifada, which is a city near the sea about 25 kilometers from Athens, and partner cinemas like Cine Alexandra to introduce pets to new families. And we also asked our friends to photoshoot their dogs, and with their permission, publish the photographs together with the names in our social media page. We were very proud that we managed, in a period of 2 years, to have almost 30 dogs adopted by families. So, how can we identify the famous return of investment? So, we managed to transform our venue over the years from a neighborhood cinema to a place where all pet lovers would meet up. We had more and more people coming and pay us a visit for the first time to see what is this and how this works, how can a cinema operate with pets inside. A word of mouth was very significant because it brought extra attention to our venue. We have increased visibility in our social media pages by doing this event. And the most important thing is that we have managed to retain our box office and admission figures to the levels before the pandemic. I think that last year we were less than 10% lower than the figures of 2019. So, as I explained to you before, it was always very difficult for an open-air cinema to introduce other kinds of activities due to the limited season and to the fact that we only had 2 screenings because of the lighting conditions. So I guess that the idea to really think outside of the box has created the ambient noise to people that came to hear the barks for themselves. Alexander, can you please? This is a video. Enjoy. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Christos. We have a question right here in the front.
Right, that's right. So my question is, this streaming with pets, do you have it only on open-air cinema, or you have it also?
We only operate open-air cinemas at the moment.
Ah, okay.
And the plan is to bring other open-air cinemas, like the one that was mentioned in the poster. It was in Alexandra, that have exhibitors that are like-minded. But I guess that the main idea is to find a way to bring back to the community. To, first of all, come together with the people that support you. And second, to be able to give something back to them as a token of appreciation. Because we receive their support, that is true. We have people coming from other neighborhoods, which was not the case some years ago. We have done many alternative events, like the ones that you had, like puppet shows and stand-up comedies. But I think that doing something like this, because of the sensitive part of the issue, can bring too much emotions to the people, and especially to your potential pool of viewers. So that is the idea.
We have those kind of screenings inside the cinema hall. So I just wanted to ask you if there are sometimes a kind of complaints. It's not actually complaints, it's a comments. Maybe it's more up to us, which are, in a closed cinema hall. Sometimes, those which doesn't like pets.
That is true.
Come and say, but I'm allergic on pets' hair, dog's hair. Can you please let us know how I don't know, how many days you, when they want to comment something or complain on something, they will find a way how. And
that is true.
Do you have that?
We try to address those cases with humor. The fact that it is an open space gives us the capacity, to move the dogs on the outside near the cashier's office. But also we had cases where we had very young pets, and we had to bring them on top of the screening room in order to make sure that they didn't make any noise, or even if they did, the noise was not going to be heard. But imagine that when you have an open space, that you're also subject to the surrounding voice and the ambient noise, your sound application is made in such a way that it can cover up for all the ambient noise that comes around. So this is something that we do, and we know how to deal with it.
Do you have any more questions? Yep, Anders.
Do dogs sometimes get into fights, or you have trouble with like dogs who don't like each other?
No, I wouldn't say that we do. No, it's a pretty controlled situation. Okay, we do ask people that come inside with their pets, do they have any specific issues? Because if they get nervous after some time, maybe you want to think it over. But generally speaking, the people that are coming with their dogs inside the cinema know the situation. So if their dog is fuzzy or makes some noise, they will probably leave it at home. But generally speaking, we didn't have any issues. And imagine the fact that also during winter time, when we have maybe 10 or 12 dogs in shelter, this can create more fuzz. But even in that case, we manage the situation. We can even have sometimes a person to attend during nights to make sure that everything is quiet and up to the circumstances around the neighborhood. So, thank you.
Okay.
Are you going to say that we have a coffee break?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
But if you don't mind, just to recover a little bit from the technical difficulties that we had at the beginning, let's make it 10 minutes instead of 15. Is it okay? It's been a light morning, so we guessed that it wasn't that harsh on you.
No.
And then, we will cover the rest in the last session. Enjoy. See you in 10 minutes.